Welcome to this year's interactive prayer journey. It's time for you to grab your prayer booklet and a pen and leave the ready room. Turn right and make your way down the hall, through the foyer, to the hallway at the back of the sanctuary. Look for the music stand that has the number you were given in the ready room and sit at the chair next to that music stand. This is where your journey begins. Pastor Mark and I are really glad you're here to go through this year's interactive prayer journey. We know God is going to speak His love, His hope, His truth, and His plans into your life as you pause and listen to Him today. I hope you have a sense of anticipation as you sit here in the back hallway. This might be the first time you've done something like this, or you might be here every year. Every prayer journey is unique. This year's journey has been designed to help you understand how to shed the lies we believe about our identity when we try to follow the Old Testament law and accept the identity we have because we are now clothed in the righteousness of Jesus Christ. We believe that God is speaking to everyone all the time. His speaking voice is like a personal radio station that is broadcasting 24/7. It's our responsibility to listen for His voice speaking to us and then let it impact our lives. We know that God speaks through His creation, through His holy written word, through circumstances, through fellowship with Christians, through visions and dreams, through prayer, and so many other ways. We want to create a space for you and God to have a conversation today. During this year's prayer journey, you're going to hear God speaking to your mind. He will bring up memories, truths from the Bible, worship and learning experiences you've had recently, or conversations you've had with godly friends and mentors. He will use your thoughts, emotions, and experiences, bringing them to mind at just the right time, connecting them together with others in just the right way, so that you can understand Him more and understand yourself more. Isn't it amazing that the Creator of the universe cares about us enough to speak to us this way? My question for you to ponder as you sit here at the start of this year's prayer journey is this: do you desire to hear God's voice speaking into your life today? Are you willing to quiet your mind and quiet your heart and lean into what He wants to say to you today? Take a moment right now to tell Him how much you love Him. Then state your intention for this prayer journey. Ask Him to use it to speak to your heart today. Then listen to this worship music quietly playing and see how He is speaking to your heart. We all want to hear God speak to us. We want to hear Him tell us that we're forgiven, what we should do with our day. Sometimes we ask Him how to fix a problem, to prove Himself to us, or to simply remind us that He loves us. If it's true that God is always speaking to us, but we struggle to hear His voice, then we have to realize the problem is on our end, not on His end. Our busy lives become the biggest barrier to us hearing God's voice. He doesn't live and work at our frantic pace. He wants us to slow down, turn off our distractions, and pause before Him so that we can hear what He is saying to us. We have to position ourselves in a place where we can better hear what he has to say to us. That's what this interactive prayer journey is all about. Slowing down, putting aside our distractions, sitting with him long enough that hopefully we'll be able to hear from him. You've probably already heard him speaking to you, even if you didn't know it. Have you had those times when you read something in the Bible and then you hear a song on the radio that reminded you of what you were reading? Or you had a conversation with someone about something completely unrelated to what you were reading that morning? And all of a sudden, you see how your life, your circumstances, or your random thoughts, they're all connected. And suddenly, you get it. The pieces fall in place. Things begin to make sense. You're not wondering anymore. That's God speaking to you. Or maybe you had those times when you were reading the Bible and it was like those words were written directly for you today, even though they were written more than 2,000 years ago. How in the world did Paul or Moses, David or Peter, James or John know that that's what I was thinking or what I was going through? Well, they didn't, but God did. He was the one who told them to write that down. And you are reading it today. And reading those words is how God is speaking to us today. Well, maybe you came to church on a Sunday morning and you were completely overwhelmed with the presence of God. Or the worship music, or the sermon, or a testimony, or some kind word someone said was just what you needed to hear today. Maybe you were encouraged because you found out you're not the only one who's struggling with what you're struggling with. That's God speaking to you. Maybe you've been wrestling with a question that you brought to God, or you realize that God has brought a question to your mind for you to wrestle with. And as you go about your day, you realize that God is working in your day to help you receive the answer to your question. The interactive prayer journey has times for you to listen to what we're saying, times to reflect, times for you to work with your hands, and times for you to write down what you're hearing from God. Open your prayer booklet to station number 1, Getting Ready, and write down any of the times you've heard God speak in your life. If none come to mind right away, well then ask God to remind you of a time when he was speaking to you, and write down what you're hearing from him. There's another key component to hearing from God. That is that we have to test what we're hearing. Well, there are many voices that could be speaking to us. We might just be hearing our own wishful thinking, or our sinful nature, the voice of the enemy, or the ideologies of the world. The easiest way for us to test what we're hearing is to run by these 5 quick tests. Does it match Scripture? Do spiritual mentors affirm it? Does it lift up Jesus? Does it bring good fruit? Or does God eventually bring it to pass? As you go through this year's interactive prayer journey, please write down what you think you're hearing from him. Then in the days and weeks to come, take the time required to test if what you think you're hearing from him is really from him. I have good news for you today. There's no end to the intimacy that we can have with God. He will reveal himself at a rate that we are willing to surrender. If you want a little bit of God, he'll give you a little bit of himself. If you want a lot of God, well, he will pour himself into your life. This encounter with God always disrupts our plans. He calls us to a closer walk with Him. This leads us to want to change our lives to be more God-centered and less us-centered. Sometimes this affects us inwardly, drawing us into deeper inward contemplation. Sometimes it affects us outwardly, and it becomes something we couldn't even hide if we wanted to. It always calls us to something greater than ourselves. Spend a moment with God right now, asking Him to pour Himself into your life today. In a minute, it'll be time for you to enter the sanctuary. You'll use the door right in front of you. Our interactive prayer journey gives you just 15 minutes at each prayer station. That time will fly by. When you have 1 minute left at your current station, this music will begin to play. This lets you know that your time at this station is about done, and it's time to prepare to move on to the next prayer station. Please don't move until we prompt you. We'll be doing some personal work at each of our prayer stations today. This work is designed to be just between you and the Lord. Take time to contemplate the greater work the Lord is doing through this experience. Be sure to move on when we prompt you so you can make room for those coming behind you. Be patient. Don't rush. Be honest. Listen to what the Lord is saying to you today. Give Him permission to do His deep work in your life.
Now it's time for you to enter the sanctuary. Enter through the doors that are right in front of you. Stand just inside the doors and look at the prayer journey laid out before you. You'll probably see other people sitting at tables spread out throughout the sanctuary. They're all pilgrims on this journey along with you. They're just a little further than you are. The next stop on your journey is at the table marked Station